Hi everyone, welcome back to our next video. So we have a little treat today. Brian and I happened to be together and he did something really cool. And we're gonna share with you today. So well, this was at the last RTR, right?
Yep, so during the RTR and also during the filming of all my tours this last winter, I asked the same question over and over to all the people. And the question was, do you have any good advice for newbies on the road or people who are just hitting the road? And I got some fantastic answers. So basically this video is gonna be a compilation of all those answers. But before we get into that, Bob, do you have any good advice for new people on the road?
Well, when have I not had lots of great advice for everyone? Everyone needs to stop and pay attention to me.
We always do.
Always do. So this is my advice to new people. If you're just starting out on the road and you're watching this video and thinking, what are the pitfalls? This is my number one thing I want to say to you. Be adaptable. There are a lot of you who are going to be coming out on the road. You're forced into it sometimes, or maybe you've made the choice, and it's a completely foreign idea. And I'm afraid that a lot of times people think, I'm just going to live my life just like I've been living it here in my apartment or here in my home. I'm going to live it just like that out on the road. And then when you get out on the road, you find out, no, it's not going to be just like it was. Everything is going to change. So if you are mentally, emotionally can be pretty important too, prepared, this is going to be a pretty radical change, and I am going to be adaptable. I am going to take all the wonderful things are coming your way. But there's some bad things coming your way too. You're going to take those bad things, and in my mind, and everyone we're going to see today, in their minds, the wonderful things overwhelm the bad things. Be adaptable, my friends. Actually, that makes me think of Bruce Lee. One of his most famous quotes is, be like water. Be like water, my friends. That's the next quote from him. When things are hard, turn and flow. Don't fight. Just be the water that flows. It's just, there's a famous saying that water is the softest thing in the universe, but it destroys the hardest things in the universe. So, my friends, be water. All right, Brian, let's see the rest of the video.
All right, hope you guys enjoy it. So do you have any advice for newbies on the road or people about to hit the road?
Yeah, I mean, for those people who have the luxury of being able to plan, because some people don't, so they got to do what they got to do to survive. But if you have the luxury of planning, I think people have this mistake in their head where it's like, okay, I'm not going to start scaling down my stuff. I'm not going to start preparing until I'm in the position to be able to do so. And it's like, no, just make the decision today. I'm going to be a nomad. So, you know, start going through your silverware, start going through your clothes, and don't push all this stuff until the last second, because it's going to be kind of maddening, right? So prepare for it over a year if you can, or 6 months. And what I did was, like in the kitchen, I tried to cook off of one burner, right? And then I would, like, if I pulled a fork out, I'd pull it, and if I used it, I'd put it in a separate container, my spatula. And so by the end of the month, I had only the utensils that I needed on a day-to-day basis. And my wardrobe was much the same way. Everything that I wore when I took off, it wouldn't be in my chest of drawers, it would be in a separate tote, right? So I knew when I left the road, well, these are the only clothes that I really wear. So that helped me get started without feeling like, oh shoot, I wish I would have brought this. And it also prevented me from bringing too much, thinking that I was going to need it. So.
All right, Josh, do you have any good advice for newbies starting out?
I think finding community is a big part of it. You can find confidence through other people's experience. Going it alone can create a lot of fear. Whether you find community online through Bob's channel or forums or whatever, but finding your tribe is a great first step to help you jump off into it.
I'm Jersey Mark. My best advice, I think, is don't overthink it. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have the best rig in the world. These rigs are all beautiful. I'm not very handy. My wife passed 5 years ago. It was signed. She passed at 63. Life's too short. Get out there and do it. And there's such a community here. This place is awesome. CheapRVLiving, the videos are great. Bob and Brian do a great job of explaining things. But the big thing is don't overthink it. Just start it out and you learn as you go, because everybody's different and what you need might be different than the next person. But you can do it simple. It's not very expensive, And that's the biggest thing, I think, the best advice I could give anybody else.
For newbies coming out right now, do you have any good advice for them? Things that you went through that you could save them some effort?
Oh, it's the same thing as everybody says. You just got to get out and do it. And start with what you have, and you'll figure it out as you go, what's good for you. This setup may not be right for everybody else. It's perfect for me. So just get whatever vehicle you have and do it.
What is the best advice that you received as newbies? Because you guys are newbies, right?
Right. I think not to be afraid. Not to be afraid to go out and try. Coming here was probably the best advice because of all that I could learn. And by here I mean the RTR, the women's RTR and the RTR, because of everything I can learn here. But I guess I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat anyway, so that I think I was a little bit fearful of it.
Yes, me too.
But I feel that this is so important for my future. Instead of sitting at home at my son's house watching TV, I can go out and still live. And so that's why I think this lifestyle is
I think it's just
life.
getting out there and doing it. You know, that's just the best way you can conquer your fear and, you know, and try this new lifestyle. So I'm looking forward to doing it someday.
I think keeping warm for the weather, figuring out how you're going to use the bathroom, where you're going to sleep, who you're going to park with, all those types of things I think are number one.
So Sherry, do you have any advice for people that are, new on the road or about to hit the road?
My biggest thing that I tell people is don't be afraid, do it. I have met so many wonderful people traveling on the road. My life is so much bigger than it was being in a stick and brick. Being able to have the outside as part of my living space is wonderful. There are enough people out there doing the same thing that you're never far from help if you ever need help.
Do you have any advice for newbies on the road or who are just about to start out?
Do your homework. I'm fortunate enough to have an over-the-road truck driver's son. So when I first started out, he had a whole list of things that he knew that I would need, because his thing is, it's not if it's going to break, it's when it's going to break. And so I have an outdoor emergency garage that has, all the emergency stuff I would need: my flares, my triangles, a jack, a charger. And he said, a lot of times you may never use what you have, but then I have it if somebody else needs it as well. So it's nice to know that it's there when I need it.
All right, Todd, what advice do you have for newbies starting out?
Do your research. This is nothing like Instagram or Facebook. I will say the YouTube channels for a lot of the YouTubers, CheapRVLiving, etc., to throw in a plug. But yeah, do your research, because what's online is not reality.
Do you have any good advice for newbies that have just hit the road or maybe are about to hit the road?
Yes, absolutely. Do yourself a favor, practice in your driveway as many times as you can. People just don't think about that as an option, and that's how you learn where things need to go. And your house is right there, so you can make modifications on a dime like that. And then go to local campgrounds and state parks to practice as well. Because the more you know about where your stuff is, how little you actually need and how much you can leave at home, the better. So when you get out here and that learning curve, which can be really overwhelming at times, you have a little bit of a comfort zone.
Okay, Ian, we're at the RTR, and what's the best advice you have for newbies starting out?
All due respect to all the beautiful rigs around here, I would just go with what you have. My dog and I have been traveling most of the last 2.5 years, about 100,000 miles of travel, which sounds crazy, all across North America, from the central Mexican highlands all the way up to the Arctic Ocean, Tuk, Alaska, back and forth across country, Newfoundland twice. It's simple, but it gets the job done, and the fuel economy is pretty decent. And it's for all-wheel drive, and put good tires on it. That's all the mods we've ever done on that. So I would say just go with what you got. Almost any car will get you almost anywhere if you drive within the limits of that vehicle.
For newbies starting out on the road in the near future, do you have any good advice for them?
Start with your van empty. Just throw a mattress in there and go out there. Short trip and see what do you need. Where do you need it? To separate the needs from the wants, basically.
Do you have any advice for newbies that are about to hit the road or new on the road?
Oh, yes, I do. So when I first hit the road, I had something called what I call double duty, which meant I had to repeat things a lot of times because I was making mistakes. I was leaving things behind. I was just making all kinds of mess. So I would say slow down. Slow down your travel, slow down your thought process, and really build in some systems and routine during those first days, and that will help you for the long run.
So welcome back after the video. Brian, that was just fantastic. Lots of great advice.
Yeah, it was actually really fun doing that whole thing, that question, because I got so many interesting answers out there that, and everybody has their own little piece of advice. So I really appreciated that, and it was a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
So folks out there, what is your piece of advice for newbies on the road, or what was your favorite advice that you got today? We'd love to hear in the comments below.
We need to hear from you.
Absolutely. If you got anything out of today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with friends, and until next time, we'll see you down the road. So long.
Be water, my friends.